Good morning to all of you. So, in yesterday's class, we have a discussion on the topic of this multiplexing, and whereas we have seen the process of FDM and WDM, right? So, FDM for frequency division multiplexing and WDM for wavelength division multiplexing, all about this. We have a discussion. We have seen some diagrams on that. Now, next part, that the left one is for those two are we have discussed, that is for analog, right? Now last one we have left yesterday, that is the part of the TDM, time division multiplexing, right? And this time division multiplexing is focused on which particular signal or which particular type of data that is working? Anyone?
Digital.
Digital, correct. Fine. So now for TDM or time division multiplexing we are talking about. Time division multiplexing, it works on the signal of or data on the digital type, right? So the process, the basic concept of multiplexing is the same, that some inputs are coming in the process and it is submitted by the mask side, and then it is passing to a single channel with a bandwidth, and then in the part of the receiver side there is some DMAS who is actually divisioning the signals and processing it for the further option of them, right? Now, how this TDM process works, right? So first we will see a diagram of the TDM and then we'll go for the scenario, right? So consider, let me draw the diagram first. Okay. Okay, consider this is a scenario where some inputs are coming from the sender side and into the mask part, and outputs are coming, getting out from the DMAX side to that particular flow, right? And there is the data flow going to the single bandling channel. What's happened in digital? Consider this is our four devices. Okay, consider this is my four devices. Considering this is D1, this is as D2, this is as D3, this is as D4. So these are the devices that is connected, and from the D1 a data stream of 1 is coming, data stream of 2, data stream of 3, and data stream of 4 flowing is there, right? The data flow process is going on in this section. What happened in this time division multiplexing, that this channel, this bandwidth channel, that every devices that is connected with the particular bandwidth channel gets a particular time slot to process or to flow their data, right? So more consistent, if I draw the scenario of the bandwidth, that how the data gets passed. So let me draw the diagram first. Consider this is the scenario, and if I write the things in like way, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, again this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is again 1, this is for 2, this is for 3, and this is for 4. Right, so this is the scenario something. Now what happened, we can see that I have written this 1 2 3 4, again this 1 2 3 4, again this 1 2 3 4. So this is a set I can talk about. This is a set, or this is a set. This is the flow. 1 2 3 4, again 1 2 3 4, again 1 2 3 4. Now the thing is, why I am writing this 1 2 3 4, that the one, the device is one, that is the first device, that is here I am talking about. This is my device 1. It is getting some particular time allotment in this particular bandwidth, this channel. This time D2 is getting some same, D3 is getting same, D4 is same. So all the devices have some particular time space allotted into the bandwidth channel to process or to flow their data. Now the time, the D1, suppose D1 have allotted some time, if I consider it as T1, D1 has allotted some time, consider it as T1. D2 have get some time allotment, that is for T2. D3 have get some time allotment, that is for T3, and D4 is same for T4. So this scenario, considering the T1, when it is passing through the channel, when it is the time slot for T1, the D1 devices is sending his data. This one is referring not any message. Okay, let me clear the confusion that one is not any message. This one means that this device one have that particular allotment into this bandwidth channel. Now the data, it can be many. It can be a 1632 bits data. It can be a 4-bit data. It can be a 2-bit data. It can be a single bit data. No issue on the data. The data, it can be anything. But what I'm trying to say that the device one have got a time allotment into this particular bandwidth channel, and at that particular moment, when it is one, we have seen one here. So when it is one, so device one have the opportunity to flow his data. Now, when the time got end for the device one, now this two will refer that device two has got the same opportunity to transfer his data. For device three, it is same for device 4. The device 4 has got the opportunity. Now how many devices are connected here? We can see this, I have drawn, there are 4 devices are connected, D1 D2 D3 and D4. So now when D4 have got his time, and after the D4 have finished his time, means whatever the time allotment, how much time the D4 devices have get, when it is finished, again the time allotment will be recycled and it is get back to the D1. Now again D1 have the opportunity to transfer his data. Same goes for D2, D3, D4, and then same again D1, D2, D3. Means this is the processes of data flow, that each devices have a particular time allotment into the single bandwidth channel to transfer his data, to flow his data. Right now, again this we have come, the data have flowed like this, and then again when the device one is sending the data, has some time allotment for D1, then the pass is, it will be passing through this one, so it will be considered as, I think, as R1. Okay, it is considered as R2, it is considered as R3, and it is considered as R4. So the same D1 when is transferring the data, it will go up to R1. When D2 is transferring the data, it is go up to R2. When D3 is transferring the data, it will go to R3. D4 for R4. So a synchronization process is maintaining here, and each of these devices have a particular time allotment into the bandwidth channel to transfer his data, to flow his data. Right now, this we can say from here that previously whatever in FDM we have seen that is a frequency division multiplexing, that the FDM, the bandwidth is shared, the total bandwidth is shared within the devices, right? The input number of signals are coming and it is getting summation, and then it is flowed like a whole, right? But in TDM, what is happening, that a portion of time through that bandwidth channel, a portion, I repeat, a portion of time through the bandwidth channel is shared here in TDM. So what is the concept, that a portion of time of the bandwidth channel, sorry, of the not, it is like to be a portion of time to pass the data through the bandwidth channel is given, right? So TDM, a portion of time to pass the data through the bandwidth channel is given, or we can say that a portion of time is shared through the bandwidth channel in TDM. This is the main concept of TDM. So each connection, each devices will occupy a portion of time into that particular link, particularly given a particular time. So the time slot will be remain same for each devices. If device 1 have this 4, then may device 2 have 5 seconds, then device 3 maybe have 3 seconds. So the time connection, whatever it is allotted, so when D1 having 4 seconds, it can send the data for 4 seconds here. It can send the data for 4 seconds here. Then again, it will send data for 4 seconds here. Again, it will for 4 seconds here. So this is that each time when it is when the device 1 is sending the data, that time allocated to him, that time only he can, that by that time he has to send the data, how much data it can be processed, but by that time, right? So we can check that the mask from the mask side, the devices that is connected are sequentially in order to transfer the data through some time shared link. So data from the different sources are combined into one time shared link. Given the time, the data is flowing from the sender side to the receiver side using this TDM, time division multiplexing technique, right? Now in this concept, there are two types of TDM. There are two basic types of TDM that is present here. One is synchronous TDM, another one is statistical TDM. Two type of scenario is there. One is synchronous and second one is statistical. Two type of scenario is there. One is for synchronous and second one is for statistical. These two type of TDM, the concept for the TDM we have discussed. Now what is more differentiation in the synchronous and statistical TDM we are going to see, right? So in synchronous TDM, what happened that each input connection, here we have the input connection of D1, D2, D3 and D4. Each input connection has an allotment for the given time. Each input connection has an allotment for the given time, right? Now consider that D1 is trying to send 1 bit data. Fine. So D1, when the time was given, D1 has said is 1 bit data. Now again, when it will the opportunity come of D1 at this particular scenario, if I highlight this one, again this is the part of D1. So when the opportunity of D1 again comes here, D1 have nothing to send, right? Because D1 have a 1 bit data and D1 have already sent it in the first case. But in here, when it is the opportunity of D1 to send again some data, it will not be there. But the data given time, here the given time is allocated for device 1. So whether the device 1 has anything to send or not, it will not matter here. The device 1 have its time to send the data, whether the data is present, whether any data is need to be sent. If it is, then the data will flow. If not, then the given allocated time will be there for D1. So after the certain time, if there is no data flow, then it will be then shifted to D2 after the given time. Whatever the time it is allocated, D1 maybe 4-5 seconds we are considering. So after 4 seconds, it will look that D1 is nothing sent. So 4 seconds is over, then the data will be, the time will be shared to D2, right? So the scenario is in the synchronous, then the synchronization is there, whether the devices are sending any data or not, but the synchronization is maintained. Now in the case of scenario, maybe some data have came again to D1 to send the data. Now here again the D1 as the synchronization as it is present here, it will again send the data at the given time. So the synchronization is there, nothing like that. If D1 is not sending any data, then we will stop, it will be out of the time share link. If the time share will be given to the devices that are already connected. If it is sending data, then it will be sent. If there is nothing to send, then it will be ideal for that time. It will be ideal for that time, right? So this is the process, or this is the concept of this synchronization time data, we can say synchronization time division multiplexing, synchronization TDM. And the second part here, that is uh, statistical TDM. The statistical TDM, it is particularly saying that synchronous TDM with concept to that, we can say that it is when we are having a particular gap, the D1 have nothing to send. Fine. So that time the link is ideal. Means there is the utilization of the link is not proper. So this is the drawback of synchronous TDM, that it is not efficient for that data, for that particular concept, that nothing is sent, but still the bandwidth is allocated to some devices. So the bandwidth is not used. So the usage is not proper. So problem, it is synchronous TDM is not so much efficient. So here some concepts, some modification have done in the part of this statistical TDM. So statistical TDM, it is doing what? In the concept of synchronous TDM, the slots means time slots. In the concept of synchronous TDM, the time slots are allocated statistically. So as it is allocated statically, so every time that device will have the opportunity to send the data, whether the data is present or not, it will not be the lookout for that. But to overcome this scenario, to overcome or to get the more usage of that particular channel, the statistical TDM was introduced. And it is doing what? The statistical TDM is allocating the time division multiplexing section dynamically. The time slots are allocated dynamically to improve the bandwidth efficiency. In statistical TDM, time slots are allocated dynamically to improve the bandwidth efficiency. Fine. So that is the drawback. What is the drawback in the synchronous? That the channel would be ideal if there is no data, but to improve the bandwidth efficiency, the statistical TDM concept was introduced to allocated the time slot dynamically. Allocated the time slot dynamically. So what happened will here, that only when an input line has some data to send, only the when the devices have some data to send, it will be allocated some time frame to that. Right. So what the scenario, there is one more scenario here, that in this particular here actually we can actually mark it here, that some lookout is going on, that which device have some data to send. First of all, if the concept D1, D2, D3, D4, all the devices have something to send, then all the devices will have the opportunity, have some time slot to send some data, send the data. Now after some time, if we are looking that this D1 have nothing to send, then the time allocated for D1 will be took out, and the given will be time frame will be divided into D2, D3, and D4, those who have something to send the data. So the time frame will be increased. In the case as D1 time frame was reduced there, so the time allocated for D1 now can be shared between D2 and D3 and D4. So they can send some more data with the given time. So that's why in the case of statistical TDM, the slots are allocated dynamically to each of the devices to send some data. So this multiplexer here have one added role. This multiplexer have one added role to check the input lines, that which input lines have some data is in the queue. So multiplexer in the case of statistical TDM has an added function to check the input lines having some data into the queue. So those having some data into the queues are going to get the time allocation to process the data. So this is the basic difference of synchronous TDM and statistical TDM. So in this scenario, we can say that in synchronous TDM, as a basic difference, if you are talking about the difference between synchronous and statistical TDM, so what can be the difference? Can anyone tell me what is the basic difference between synchronous and statistical TDM? Anyone? What can be the difference between statistical and synchronous TDM by whatever the discussion we have talked here?
Current fusion time slots are allocated statically, but statistical fusion time slots are allocated dynamically.
Okay. So in the process, we can say the basic difference of synchronous and statistical TDM is that in synchronous TDM, there is a thing of slot, empty slot. In synchronous TDM, the slots may be empty. The slots means the time slots for the given time. It can be empty. But in statistical TDM, no slots can be empty. No slots is left empty to send the data. So the process or the allocation of the bandwidth, usage of the bandwidth is much higher in case of statistical TDM. So statistical TDM having a dynamic memory, dynamic time allocation function. So that is, it is much better with respect to that synchronous TDM, right? So this is the basic difference between the synchronous TDM and statistical TDM. That concept of statistical TDM was introduced by the drawback of synchronous TDM. So we have found a drawback into the concept of the synchronous TDM, and that's why this statistical TDM is fulfilling that drawback to use that frequency higher, right? Now, the thing next part comes here, that is switching. So we have talked about this multiplexing, all the things topic, right? Now the next part comes here, that is the switching. So what is the switching? We know that switching as a basic concept, what is we can call a switching. Switching is a set of connected devices, a network with a set of connected devices, which itself is a devices we can consider about. So a network that is a set of connected devices is called a switching, right? So now as a concept of switching, if we are talking about, so this switching, suppose in previous the when this network concept is going, we have some multiple devices, because that at the time it is actually going into the scenario and we don't have all the things in properly, right? So to check every time, we may have some problems we are facing, because when a thing is going newly or just invented and it is in the process for the applications, we can find many drawbacks actually there, right? And we are, when we are getting a drawback, getting some problems, then we can look out for the further solution of that. Similar thing happened here, that in the case of switching, whenever we have a multiple devices, we have a problem how to connect them to make a one-to-one communication very easily, because it is possible, because when an organization, when a sector or the things is communicating each other, they have some multiple devices, they have some multiple branches that needs to be connected in a synchronous process, so that there will be no hamper of their work or of their process. So the problem that have faced, that when we have some multiple devices that needs to share the data, how to connect them in a one communication possible way. That is where the concept of switching techniques come, and this problem is overcome by the concept of switching. So this switched network we are talking about, it is consist of some series of interlinked nodes. This switch, it is connected by some concept of interlinked nodes, and these nodes are called switches. These nodes are called switches. So this switches that we are talking about, it is very much capable, or these devices are very much capable of creating some temporary connection between two or more devices. Right. So if I draw a diagram of a switch network, so first let us see a diagram of the switch network, how the concept is going on. Right. So suppose this is my whole of the switch network. Okay, this is the inter blocking diagram. So in this first, suppose there are multiple devices are connected. Okay, this is a device. Considering this is a device, here are four devices are connected. Consider here is one device, again here is four. Some devices are connected here, and suppose in this process there are some interlinked devices that is actually help here to connect these processes, that is helping us to connect all the devices into the single system. Suppose this. Okay, consider this is the scenario. Now named all, let me name all the things so it will be very easy. Suppose it is A. Okay, suppose it is B, it is C, D, E, F, G. Suppose this number of devices are connected into a, that are the means we, I am trying to say that multiple devices are connected. Right now, considering the scenario, this is my interlinked switches that is helping us for the processes. Okay, so let me just draw a connection like that. So suppose this is a connection system. Okay, suppose this is my one, this is my second, this is my third device, this is my fourth switch device, this is my fifth switch device. So considering this is my fifth switch device. So now how the scenario is connected with each other. Okay, so let me connect all the things first. I think all the scenario are connected with each other. Now, this is just the interconnection of the box, means whatever we can see as a switch device, that is the outside of the devices, right? The box or something like a black cover with the, what is inside that particular cover. Something like this type of connection scenario was made inside that box cover. Okay, but every time it is not that this is the diagram, this is the it cannot be changed. Okay, the connection it can be changed, the connection it can be made like in a way that all can be connected with each other, so that it can be sent the data in any order, right? So all needs to be connected with each other, that is the main concept. So in a switch network we can say that nodes are connected to the end system. So these nodes are connected, every means A, B, C, D, these particular devices are connected with the switch devices that is inside the box, and nodes are using only for routing. So the end system here that I've mentioned, that A, B, C, D, these are the devices, that is multiple devices that are connected, that needs to be connected through the network, and that we have mentioned as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are called as switch that is connected with multiple links. So this intermediate is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are termed as the switch devices, and this A, B, C, D, these are the term for the devices or the PC mobile, this is not only mobile, the PC that are connected, right? So this is the basic concept of this switching technique, the switching process that I am talking about. Right now, this switching process, this is the basic concept of the switching process where we have overcome the solution, overcome the situation that when multiple devices are connected, wow, we can make them to connect in a one-to-one communication possibly, right? So this is the process that how we can make one-to-one connection possibly. So this switching technique is divided further into the three methods. This switching technique is divided into further three methods. What are the three methods? First one, it is termed as circuit switching. Second one, it is termed as the packet switching. And third one, it is termed as the message switching. So this switching techniques was further divided into three particular device processes, that is circuit switching, packet switching, and message switching. So the circuit switching and this packet switching is actually very often or very used common in a common way, but that packet switching, sorry, the message switching is for the networking application. Some of these, some have some networking application, we will look into that. So this switching, the technique of this we will discuss surely, we will going to discuss further, but before that, this switching techniques have something connection with some the TCP IP layers. These have some connections with the TCP IP layers, obviously, because when we are putting our devices into something and the multiple devices are connected to share the data, so it must have been placed into some layers, right? Because if it is not placed in any layer, then how the data flow, means what we have studied into our TCP IP layers or WSI layers, that the data flowing from this layer to the next layer to the next layer, from the sender side and again in the receiver side to the opposite side. So there have to be a flow, and where this switch will be placed. Now the scenario is the switch is not present in a particularly single layer, single TCP IP layer. It is not present. The switch can be present, or it is present actually three or four layers. That is, switch can be present in our physical layer, switch can be present in our data link layer, the switch can be present in our network layer, and switch can be present also in our application layer. Now I am saying that switch can be present in every layer, but previous that at the discussion of the switching, I have said that it is the basic concept or basic function is that to make a system look like when multiple devices are connected with each other. Then one can say that what is the necessity to place switch in different layers? Why do we need that? We only need the switch to connect the multiple devices. But what then? Are we placing this switch into the multiple layers? What is the role? What is the function? Yes, there have some different function of this switch into the different layers, right? So talking about that, first of all, let us say the switching at physical layer. So I have said the switch can be present where in four layers generally, that it can be present in our physical layer, it can be present in our data link layer, it can be present in our network layer, and lastly it can be present in our application layer. Okay, so fine. So what are the roles on each and every one? Physical layer, we can have the circuit switching. In means the process we have just talked that in the switching techniques there are three processes: circuit switching, message switching, packet switching. These can be added into the layers, that what technique we are using at which layer. Circuit switching, message switching, and packet switching, we can use this switching techniques into the different layers. So in the physical layer, the switching technique that is used, the circuit switching. What is circuit switching, what is packet switching, what is message switching, we will see in the next scenario. But first, let the process of the layer where which technique is present in which layer. So the physical layer have the process of circuit switching, the data link layer and the network layer have the concept of packet switching, and application layer have the concept of message switching. So if I write it, that this physical layer have the scenario of circuit switching, data link layer, and this network layer have the concept of packet switching. And lastly, in the application layer, we have the concept of message switching technique. So these techniques that have introduced into the different layers for the further process. For the further process, this technique was introduced into the processing part, right? So the circuit is in the physical layer, packet is in data and network layer, and message is in the part of the application layer, right? Now, the processes, what is the technique, what is the circuit switching, what is packet switching, what is message switching, we will definitely see in my next class, because starting this it will not cover all the things. And what is the role of this switching at physical layer, what is the concept of switching at data link layer, network layer, application layer, we will also see that. But before that, we are going to discuss on the topic of this circuit, packet and message, and then we will come back again into this particular scenario, right? So in yes, tomorrow class, I hope there is a class of data communication. Yes, tomorrow also, right? Let me check. Friday. Okay, so Friday, no. Okay, again, it will be having the class on Monday. Okay, so fine, we will cover it into the next classes. No issue on that. So up to this particular part, we are going to talk and discuss today. We are going to stop here today because time will not permit for the further discussion on today's class. Okay, so this is where we are going to stop today, and I hope all of you have written your names in the chat box for the attendance purpose. So if anyone have any query or doubts, they can tell me or ask me, or later you can call me for any type of doubts. Okay, and I have already shared the syllabus for the internal exams, that only the first part, that is the networking module, the module 5, basically we are going to have into the internal exam. We are having the questions from there. Okay, so if anyone have anything to say, they can say me, otherwise I'm going to end the class here. Fine. So I think there is nothing to say by anyone. Okay. So thank you all for joining into the session. We will meet later in the Linux classes. Okay. So thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.